Hey, Skiba News Nation family. Welcome, Jake and Opa. How you guys doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Doing great, Jeremiah.
Awesome. Hey, I wanted to show you guys. Look at the new lanyards for Truthercon 2025. It's going to be awesome. We got the VIP passes and the wristbands. I'm not going to show it too long because if I do, people might make copies, I've been told. So, you know, it's going to be pretty awesome. So, if you guys haven't already, get your Truthercon ticket. Let's go ahead and play this ad real quick.
Huge is coming. We're building the world's largest truther convention. It's called Truthercon.
This is the place where truthers unite to explore knowledge, ask tough questions, to challenge the mainstream narrative.
But it isn't just a convention. It's a movement for free thought, open discussion, and the right to question everything.
We are bringing in some of the biggest names of the truther community, so expect deep discussions, mind-blowing revelations, and connections with like-minded truth seekers.
If you feel like the truth is being hidden from you, this is where you need to be.
And the best part, it's 100% grassroots, built by truthers for truthers, straight from our Skiba News Nation family. Truthercon will be a massive networking event. I believe this is going to be the most exciting truther event ever.
October 2025 in Dallas, Texas. We hope to see you there.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be like the Disneyland of truther conferences. So if you think of any truther thing ever, just expect Disneyland over State Fair. So we're going to try to make it the best quality that you guys have ever seen. And it truly is going to be something special. But yeah, can't wait to see you guys there.
I am so excited, man. It's going to be great. This weekend, I got to go to friends putting on a conference here locally in Kentucky, and I got to run into some super cool people. One bro, Zach, it was super sweet to run into you in person, and also a couple people, Jeremiah, that I got to see there that would be interested in being guests on the show. So I'm super stoked. We got to make some really cool connections. So really appreciate getting to go out to this event. And man, I'm just so stoked to see what happens at Truthercon, because just seeing what a live event does when it brings all these different people together, and you're able to have just this great opportunity to have conversations in person. You can kind of get to the nitty gritty and start talking about the most interesting compelling conspiracies and topics, and you have people that you can jive with that don't already think you're crazy, and will maybe hear you out for your pet theory or whatever. But yeah, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty epic. I can't wait to just do it. Like, I just want it to be over with. I feel like I've been losing sleep and I've been working so hard. I just want it to be there so we can do it and make it awesome. So
Yep.
So, Opa, do you want to start us off with some of your stories?
Yeah, of course, Elon Musk has been in the news quite a lot recently. Matter of fact, they were supposed to launch the 10th launch of the Starship today or tonight in Star City, Texas. It used to be called Boca Chica, and now they renamed it Star City. And it was supposed to go off at 6:30, and I took a look to see what happened, and they scrubbed the mission because apparently they needed time to troubleshoot some kind of a problem. So it looks like they may go tomorrow. But there's a little video clip I found that is about how the U.S. space industry has become so dependent on SpaceX. So let's make sure I got the right one. Yep.
2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
SpaceX has become synonymous with U.S. space supremacy.
SpaceX is irreplaceable as a national asset.
Right now, SpaceX is just completely dominant, but it's dominant because it's the best.
For years, the U.S. government and SpaceX have had a mutually beneficial relationship.
The government is an extraordinary customer from us, both the Department of Defense as well as NASA. The news these days is we have $22 billion worth of government contracts. We earned that.
Booster ignition and the final liftoff of Discovery.
The government used to have its own space program, its own shuttle programs, but those were retired, and now the government looks to SpaceX for those capabilities. So without SpaceX, the government cannot deliver its critical technologies into orbit.
But a recent public feud between SpaceX founder Elon Musk and President Donald Trump over Trump's Big Beautiful Bill threatened to end this relationship.
Mr. Trump going after the SpaceX CEO's bottom line. The easiest way to save money in our budget is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. In response, Musk threatening to decommission SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft that is used by NASA to ferry astronauts to the space station.
Although Trump and Musk have since backed off these threats, the temporary rift between two of the world's most powerful men begs the question: how did the U.S. become so dependent on SpaceX? And who has more to lose if the relationship sours again?
This tension with SpaceX and its being a monopoly is one of, if not the biggest challenge for the space program today. If we are held over a barrel by not just a company, but an individual who we have no control over, that's what's, I think, concerning.
Nerd.
Elon Musk founded SpaceX in 2002. Using money that he made from the sale of PayPal, Musk and his new company developed their first rocket, the Falcon 1, to challenge existing launch providers.
There were actually a lot of startup aerospace companies looking to take on this market. They recognized we had a monopoly provider called United Launch Alliance. They had merged the Boeing and Lockheed rocket launch capacity to one company, and they were charging the government hundreds of millions of dollars to launch satellites. But wanting to break that paradigm was seen as really important to a number of companies.
In 2003, Musk paraded Falcon 1 around the streets of D.C., hoping to attract the attention of government agencies and the multi-million-dollar contracts that they offered. It worked. SpaceX was able to secure a few $1 million from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, and the U.S. Air Force to further develop its rockets. But the company still struggled.
NASA, and specifically the initial commercial cargo contract, is what saved the company when it was on the brink of bankruptcy.
NASA awarded the $1.6 billion contract known as Commercial Resupply Services to SpaceX in 2008, just months after the first successful flight of the Falcon 1. The contract called on SpaceX to use its new rocket, the Falcon 9, along with its Dragon capsule to ferry cargo and supplies to the International Space Station over the course of 12 missions. Orbital Sciences was given $1.9 billion for 8 missions to the ISS. Lori Garver is a former deputy administrator at NASA and was instrumental in establishing NASA's commercial space program, which has become the norm.
In 2009, 2010, we started pitching a program to Congress to allow the private sector to bid on launching astronauts to space as well. We were spending $4-5 billion a year on the space shuttle program and not able to do what it was set out to do, which was make space travel routine and lower the cost. And the best ways to do that in this country, in a capitalist society, tend to be private sector driving innovation. So that program eventually caught on.
That program became known as Commercial Crew. In 2014, NASA awarded SpaceX $2.6 billion and Boeing $4.2 billion to develop and operate vehicles to ferry astronauts to and from the ISS.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
In 2020, SpaceX made history. It was the first time that a commercially built and operated spacecraft carried NASA astronauts to the International Space Station. It was also the first time that the U.S. was able to launch NASA astronauts from U.S. soil since the agency retired the space shuttle in 2011. Up until this time, the U.S. was dependent on Russian Soyuz rockets to launch its crew. Meanwhile, Boeing has struggled to compete.
SpaceX came on strong, and I can't say enough about their success being based on their ability to deliver. Their bid is always lower than their competitors, and then they beat their competitors in timeline and ability. The Commercial Crew Program, a case in point, Boeing got almost twice as much money and hasn't been able to successfully launch and return an astronaut crew.
After launching 2 NASA astronauts to the ISS on its Boeing Starliner capsule in 2024, the company was forced to return the capsule to Earth empty after it suffered mechanical issues. The 2 astronauts that were supposed to return on Starliner were eventually brought home on a SpaceX Dragon capsule, months later than originally planned. Today, SpaceX dominates large parts of the space market from launch to satellites. In 2024, SpaceX conducted a record-breaking 134 orbital launches, more than double the amount of launches done by the next most prolific launch provider, the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. These 134 launches accounted for 83% of all the spacecraft launched last year. Furthermore, SpaceX's Starlink satellites made up 65% of all operational satellites in space in 2024. SpaceX's Dragon capsule and Falcon 9 rocket are the primary means by which NASA launches astronauts and supplies to the International Space Station. The company's Starlink satellites have become indispensable for providing internet access to remote areas as well as to U.S. allies during wartime. The company's Starship rocket, though still in testing, is also key to the U.S. plan to return to the moon. Quilty attributes SpaceX's market dominance to several factors.
Number one, they focused on vertical integration, both to control the costs as well as the speed of development and the engineering cycle. Number two was they focused on key technologies to reduce cost, and that was reusability. And the final thing that SpaceX did that differentiates them from every other competitive player is they scaled. And they scaled without knowledge of the demand necessarily being there, building out production capacity for flat panel antennas, for example, on the Starlink business, where they're producing millions of antennas, whereas previously, you might see global production of less than 100,000 units.
SpaceX is often also credited with considerably bringing down launch costs and undercutting the competition. And this is not even considering the company's latest rocket, Starship. Designed to be the largest and most powerful rocket in the world and built to be fully reusable, SpaceX has said that Starship will reduce launch costs even further, though the rocket is still in testing. Meanwhile, the reliability of the company's Falcon 9 launch vehicles have caused even some of SpaceX's competitors, including Amazon and OneWeb, to launch their satellites on SpaceX rockets.
The ecosystem of space is changed by SpaceX. The lower cost of access to space is doing what we had dreamed of. It is built up a whole community of companies around the world that now have access to space.
Its launch and satellite business has paid off big time for the company. In June, Musk said that SpaceX would bring in $15.5 billion of revenue in 2025 and is on track to exceed NASA's entire budget next year. But lately, SpaceX has also been nudging into a different market, defense.
The DoD is actually a much newer customer for SpaceX, primarily on the Starlink service.
In 2022, SpaceX took in less than $200 million in revenue from the Department of Defense. That's increased significantly.
That ballooned recently to about $3 billion projected in 2025, comprised of a large NRO contract worth $1.8 billion and the company's extensive Starlink and Starshield services used in support of the DoD and specifically Ukraine.
SpaceX's growing role in the defense space has raised some questions around over-reliance on a single private company and whether that company's interests align with the interests of the nation.
A perfect example of this is in Ukraine, where Ukraine relied on Starlink for its services, but Elon Musk refused to provide Starlink services for a Ukrainian military operation because he did not want to start World War III, and he believed that Starlink services would be complicit in that case, so Ukraine could not complete this operation.
As a result, the U.S. government commissioned Starshield. The $1.8 billion contract requires SpaceX to build a network of spy satellites that offer additional security and encryption for military use.
They're not so secret anymore.
Controlled by the U.S. government. Experts say that SpaceX's market dominance has put the U.S. in a tough spot.
The space industry is sort of in the 1913 moment where Ford has figured out how to run a production line and all their competitors are building
Hey, be
cars
careful
by
there.
hand. And although it may be in the government's immediate best interest to give all available contracts to Ford, you would essentially kill the industry of the potential for competition if those contracts are not spread around. And that's the challenge that the government is facing.
But Garber says this isn't a new challenge.
NASA's reliance on SpaceX, it is a symbiotic relationship. That is very similar to NASA's relationship with major contractors throughout its 60-year history, starting with the Rockwells and Northrops for Apollo. But SpaceX is delivering better than anyone else. And so I don't think that the answer is to stop doing things in this way. It's to help level the playing field through investment in technologies and policies that will incentivize others.
One thing that is different about SpaceX, though, is that it's a private company.
Not only is governance different, you have individuals who can make decisions, and you don't have shareholders, and you don't have the transparency required by the SEC for the kinds of things that we've grown to expect, certainly in aerospace programs until now.
The government has been trying to diversify beyond SpaceX. The U.S. Space Force has inked contracts with Rocket Lab, Stoke Space, Blue Origin, and United Launch Alliance, in addition to SpaceX, for launch capabilities. Meanwhile, NASA has contracts with a number of different companies for its Artemis mission designed to return astronauts back to the moon. NASA declined to be interviewed for this story, but in a statement to CNBC, a NASA spokesperson said, NASA supports a growing commercial launch services market, space communications, and navigation capabilities, and is working with commercial industry for Artemis missions on the moon. The agency is contributing to a competitive market that will increase commercial innovation and drive down costs as the agency builds economic opportunities in low Earth orbit and around the moon, as we prepare for human exploration of Mars. SpaceX did not respond to CNBC's request for an interview for this story. Still, experts say that SpaceX will continue to dominate the space market for the foreseeable future.
For the next 10 to 15, maybe 20 years, I do not think it's possible for the U.S. to wean itself off of SpaceX, mainly because it takes about 15 to 20 years for a launch company to go from startup to market performer. Of course, there are other competitors that exist, but SpaceX does something unique, and they continue to innovate, and they continue to push forwards in ways that I think will keep them ahead of the curve.
All right, so what do you guys think about that?
That's a lot of information. So I don't know what I think about it. What do you think about it, Jake?
So it reminds me a lot of the same situation we have with Palantir, which is an AI company that just swept all of the U.S. government contracts for digital, like, security and defense spending on AI stuff. And what that represents is similar to what we see with what it was mentioning with Elon Musk, where because it's a single company that is excelling in all these different areas of rocketry and AI and communications and all this kind of stuff, it's kind of like putting all our eggs in one basket, so to speak. And it kind of allows figures like Elon Musk to be propelled into the echelon of world influencing corporations and stuff, because everybody's going to them to make their rockets because they're the new shiny car on the block, and or shiny car in the space, as Elon wants everybody to believe. You know, it's up there somewhere floating around. There's just a car. But anyways, yeah, man, I mean, it's not surprising that they're starting to lean more and more on SpaceX. But really what I think is Elon recognized the racket that was space program and decided to jump on that and get part of the pie. And now NASA's going to have to figure out how to outcompete SpaceX to get some of those taxpayer dollars, because it's all being diverted to SpaceX. But for years, it was hundreds of millions of dollars a day was going to NASA. And now Elon's able to, shoot a rocket up and land it. And now he's going to start getting all that moolah to do whatever he wants with it.
Yeah, I always forget about PayPal, that he was like one of the founders of PayPal and like made that a success and then sold it. Like that's mind blowing in and of itself,
Yeah. The thing is that SpaceX is successful. It is delivering. It is keeping costs down. NASA, all that money that goes into NASA, instead of paying Boeing and the United Launch Alliance, or ULA or UAL.
Oh, but you're kind of roboting. Is it just me?
I don't.
You're kind of you're kind of crackling. Sounds like it's breaking up.
Do I need to move closer or what?
Maybe unplug your mic and plug it back in.
A little bit.
How about now?
When you were closer, it was better.
All right. So, the thing is that, NASA gets a big budget, and, they spend a ton of money to UAL to, build Orion space capsule and all that stuff, and it's going nowhere. I mean, it's just the same old. They're spending billions and billions of dollars, and yet the little bit of money, the few billions of dollars that they're spending to SpaceX is delivering. So it's kind of hard not to depend and put all your eggs in one basket when they keep delivering. Now, if they don't deliver, obviously they can pull it and go to somebody else. But they do need to continue to have it, try to make it a competitive market with Blue Origin and New Horizons and all these other independent companies to, give them some money to help develop their stuff so that we have more than just SpaceX. Now, the other thing, Musk has been in the news about is something interesting. So why don't we take a listen to this?
ChatGPT is the artificial intelligence chatbot that has taken the tech world by storm. But Elon Musk isn't impressed. He says the Microsoft-backed product has been trained to lie. Now the Tesla billionaire plans his own rival. Musk says his will be called TruthGPT. Talking to Fox News, he said its mission would be to understand the nature of the universe. He thinks that will make it safer than rivals and less likely to go rogue and annihilate humankind. Musk has registered a firm called X.AI in Nevada. He's also been poaching researchers from alphabet unit Google. Musk has previously called for more regulation of AI and backed a 6-month pause in further developments. He's criticized Google co-founder Larry Page for not taking safety seriously enough. Musk was actually one of the founders of OpenAI, which developed ChatGPT, but he stepped down from its board in 2018, later saying he needed to focus on his other businesses.
Microsoft hitting $4 trillion has really gotten to Elon. In his latest cockamamie scheme for his ex-AI company, Mr. Musk has decided to trademark the opposite of Microsoft for the AI things that they're working on. That's right, Macro Hard will be going up against Microsoft and their partnership with OpenAI. There's been a falling out between Elon and OpenAI with regards to their choices to pursue profit and abandon the original nonprofit ideal, even though they've since reversed that decision. It cost him about $2,300 to troll Bill Gates. Probably worth it for him.
What do you guys think about that?
I think it's interesting. I think it's funny that yesterday I was using ChatGPT and I was talking to it like a person on speakerphone, and Opa was like, "Turn that off." Like at the beginning, he was like, "I don't like this." It was so weird.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting, of course, that he's first off, he's creating a company called X.AI.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Truth GPT. is the product. And then he's also going to make an opposite of Microsoft. Instead of calling it Microsoft, it's going to be macro hard.
Yeah,
So
it's funny.
quite interesting. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, he is one of those meme lords and just a comedy joker in the way that he conducts business. I think what it is he got to the point where he made so much money and became so successful. Now he has obviously everything he could ever need for the rest of his life in terms of like providing for his wants and his family's wants for 15 generations, right? So what do you do? Well, when you have a lot of money and pretty much, whatever you do can become successful. I think he takes some of that time and he spends it in these comedic ways. But yeah, man, that you always see over the years he's poked different big corporate people in the eye because he just doesn't care what they think. And I definitely see how people can really admire that in his interactions with these people that are untouchable and everybody's kissing their boot, and then all of a sudden Elon Musk comes in here and flips Microsoft to macro hard, and then laughs about it.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, another thing that's happened in the news recently, I guess in the past week or so, is there's a lot of controversy.
Oh, but it's still pretty bad. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a robot. My AGD is real bad.
Let's see here.
Your videos aren't blurry or buzzing though, so if you keep your intros short, it'll still work.
I wouldn't worry about it. Oh no.
All right, what about now?
It's still pretty bad, but it's okay.
Well, I'm not sure what's causing my problem. Let's go back here.
Maybe unplug the headset and plug it back in.
Well, the headset's not going to do the speaker. I turned my gain down. Did that help any?
A little bit.
A little bit? All right. Well, anyway, what's happened in the news recently has been that Cracker Barrel has decided to change their logo. And so there you go. This is their current logo. And what happened to my little, oh, there it is. So they decided to change it to this. And a lot of people got really upset about it. And a lot of people are complaining about the new logo. They like the old one. They think it needs to stay the same. But I have heard that allegedly that Cracker Barrel actually had considered other logos. So here's one. Crack Barrel.
Hunter Biden and a crack barrel.
Oh, Crack Barrel. And then they considered this one, Crackler Barrel.
Oh, Cackler Barrel.
And then they had this one here, Cracker Barack.
He's already copyrighted that one.
Yeah. And then finally, or not finally, but this one was Cracker Barely There. So, those were some that they might have considered. The one that I like the most is this one here that they might have considered. It's Winter Barrel.
It's a little dachshund.
Little dachshund. So, that's all I got, guys.
Awesome.
That is funny.
That's great, Opa.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some of those Cracker Barrel things. It's really interesting. In the stock market, ever since that change happened, they had a massive crash in the price of their stock. The lady that introduced this change was trying to separate Cracker Barrel from its old racist roots, right? Because it's got an old fogey sitting next to the sign, and it bit him.
You know what his name is?
Crackle.
No, what's his name?
His
Cracker.
name, no, his name is Uncle Herschel.
Uncle Herschel.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I got this video today of the growing, alarming viral growth outbreak in deer populations. We saw it happened to rabbits recently, but it's also been hitting the deer. So check this out.
On social media of rabbits with strange growths on their heads.
Yeah, the warts almost look like horns, but Colorado Parks and Wildlife wants people to know that it's not a problem. Now, CPW has noticed this in rabbits north of Fort Collins this summer, and they say what you see here on this rabbit is actually not rare. The growth of warts comes from the papillomavirus and is spread by biting insects that are usually more active in the summer. CPW says that there is no threat of transmission to your pets, but say that you should still be careful.
There's no over concern needed for pet owners. We would just say keep those wildlife principles in mind when you do have your pets out. Keep them on leash, keep them away from wild animals just in case, but it's not necessarily something we see transmitted from rabbits to dogs.
Susan Mansfield said she saw a different bunny with tentacles in her yard in recent years.
He had this same black stuff on him, and I thought he would die off during the winter, but he didn't. He came back a second year, and it grew.
A group of rabbits in northern Colorado are sprouting growths, and it looks like something out of a horror film.
Yeah, scientists say what's happening is actually pretty common. Errol Barnett explains.
Rabbits in Colorado have been infected with a virus that's causing them to sprout what look like tentacles, which causes these wart-like growths to protrude from bunny faces like metastasizing horns. And rabbits with these tendril-like growths have been spotted all around Fort Collins over the past week. And people are calling these poor infected critters Frankenstein bunnies, demon rabbits, and zombie rabbits too. Now, what's interesting is historically, this type of deformation may have contributed to the centuries-old myth of jackalopes, which told of a mysterious rabbit with antlers or horns or other variations. Now, the Shoat papillomavirus is mostly harmless. It's common during summer months when fleas and ticks are more active and spread the virus. And get this, the discovery of this disease was actually an important one for science because it led researchers to make the connection that human papillomavirus can cause cancer.
Strange tentacle-like growths on their faces. ABC 10 contributor Amanda Gilbert spotted some in her neighborhood and asked wildlife experts to weigh in.
Yeah, I've noticed these rabbits more than once while walking my dog, and it turns out I'm not alone. So I reached out to Colorado Parks and Wildlife. It seems rabbits enjoy living in Fort Collins just as much as people. They're often spotted hopping through neighborhoods looking for grub. But some southeast Fort Collins neighbors noticed bunnies where cute wasn't exactly the word that came to mind. I snapped this photo of one of the rabbits I've seen with the growth. I also saw this photo posted on Reddit, also spotted in Fort Collins.
Like a scabbyish looking kind of growth over her face. Looks like it was black quills or black toothpicks sticking out all around his mouth. They have, something that, we can help them with.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife confirms this is a virus that's not contagious to other animals like people's dogs, but they say leave this wildlife alone like you would with any of the neighborhood bunnies.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife says the growths are similar to benign tumors or warts that can just keep growing. They don't harm the rabbits unless they grow around sensitive areas like the eyes or mouth.
You may have seen disturbing viral images of rabbits with black tentacles growing out of their heads. The strange sight left internet users scratching their noggins. It's even stoked fears that the growths are a sign of the end of the world, not unlike the spores seen in HBO's hit show The Last of Us. Earlier this year, one of the Franken bunnies was spotted in snowy Nebraska. Then, just a few days ago, Denver's 9 News reported a slew of them in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Like a scabbyish looking kind of growth over her face.
Looks like it was black quills or black toothpicks sticking out all around his mouth.
As the story spread, one Redditor reported the phenomenon for the last few years in Minnesota. Another chimed in, "They're all over here in St. Paul." So, is the Midwest under attack?
The zombie deer disease has returned, and experts say it's spreading. While it sounds like something out of The Walking Dead, chronic wasting disease is actually very real.
And as Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini shows us, there's concern it could jump to humans.
Wildlife officials are close to making a final decision on rules for limiting the spread of chronic wasting disease, or zombie deer disease, in Washington, including a possible statewide ban on feeding wildlife and using bait to hunt deer, elk, and moose. Opponents of that idea claim banning bait is an attack on hunters, but supporters argue banning the practice is long overdue, saying that bait stations and backyard feeding create areas for wildlife to gather and increase the spread of the disease. Public comment for the new rules ends Friday, with a final decision expected later this month.
Kentucky officials are alerting residents after detecting a second case of chronic wasting disease in deer. The Kentucky Department of Agriculture says a dead deer tested positive on October 11th at a deer farm in Breckinridge County. The disease is sometimes called the zombie deer disease and is usually fatal to infected animals. Officials say there is no vaccine or treatment. Scientists think it spreads between animals through contact with fluids of an infected animal. State agriculture officials are monitoring the illness. The Center for Disease Control says there is no strong evidence indicating the illness can infect people.
Chronic wasting disease, or CWD, dubbed zombie disease in deer, is spreading, according to experts.
It has been spreading, and it's now found in most states.
Begging the question, are humans at risk?
I think that until we see very clear evidence of transmission from animal to a human, we have to state that there does not appear to be a risk, but that can change.
Yellowstone National Park recently confirmed a case of CWD after a deer carcass tested positive for the highly contagious and fatal brain disease.
It's a disease that's seen in the deer family. They get this abnormal protein. It causes them to, over time, over a year or two, develop these holes in their brain so they can't feed themselves. And
okay, well, let's leave it at that for now and talk about it for a second. What do you guys think about these crazy animal diseases going around the U.S. right now?
Well, I think the deer one kind of creeps me out because they have the ticks or whatever that people can get. So that's kind of frightening for me. But the rabbits you just stay away from, I guess. But the Lindsay sent me this weird article about the squirrels that have all these like weird warts on their face. And it's just, I don't know, something weird going around.
Yeah. What about you, Opa? What do you think about these creepy creatures?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're not moving.
It looks like my video's stopped. What's interesting is my uncle in Germany, he actually shot a horned rabbit. They call them a Rehhase. And he had it mounted and put into the restaurant that they ran. And it was quite interesting. And of course, Jeremiah has one over there.
This is Wesley the Weasel. He's a soft mount taxidermy. But he ain't going to get no warts or rabies or whatever. I'm protecting him.
Hold on. Since we're doing show and tell, I got to show you guys my taxidermy. It's one of a kind. Sometimes we like to get it in the bathtub, you know.
Oh. Well, since we're doing
Yeah.
show and tell, I got a bobblehead. You know, I was this at one point. Not this bobblehead, but rubber duckies are always the best.
Yeah. You gotta add your stuff.
Well, here's this next video, which is the topic of these ticks that are causing this meat dairy allergy to spread. And I think it's interesting because we showed this video all about the crazy, creepy virus that is causing these growths to spew out of the faces of cute, fluffy bunnies that are no longer cute anymore. But, you know, there have been connections with these tick-borne illnesses with government experimentation, and to this day, certain diseases have been linked to bio warfare that, you know, wound up in some kind of released tick population. And so when we see the uptick in this tick disease, it's worth paying attention to. Check this out.
It's been dominated with headlines about an eight-legged menace that is barely the size of an apple seed. I'm talking about the dreaded tick. Every year, tens of millions of Americans.
I hate those things.
And 2025 has been particularly bad. Emergency room visits have
Particularly.
spiked, especially in the Midwest. And it's the sheer horror of contracting a tick-borne disease that has people conducting full body checks whenever they come in from the great outdoors. The main concern up until now, of course, has been Lyme disease. Half of adult ticks in some parts of the country carry the Lyme bacteria, and the human symptoms like facial paralysis and arthritis can linger for years. But there is an alarming tick-borne disease that is now sending shockwaves through some communities called alpha-gal syndrome, and it makes you deathly allergic to meat and dairy. Yes, you heard that right. It's essentially turning people vegan. It starts with the Lone Star tick, which is the most
Did she
common
call
in
it
eastern
alpha-gal
and western
syndrome?
United States, all
What?
the way down from Maine to Florida and Texas.
I don't know, but
The
why'd
adult
she name it the Lone Star tick?
a white dot or lone
Oh,
star
it's the
on
single
her back,
dot.
and they mostly live in wooded
Yes,
and
you guys are
grassy
right. It
areas.
is no joke.
Some
We
of
have
those
several
ticks carry
friends
a
that
sugar molecule
have
called
this.
alpha-gal, which, when transmitted to people, makes them incapable
What are the symptoms?
of anything from pizza to ice cream. Even smelling a hamburger cooking on a grill can knock people unconscious.
Makes you super sick
And then there are the hives,
to be around
the coughing,
like
the wheezing that comes with
protein or
using
something.
anything that has been touched by any animal byproduct, including lip balms, lotions, even some bottled water. A recent report in the New York Times said that the cases are so widespread, for example, on Martha's Vineyard, that restaurants there are having to roll out special alpha-gal menus. Joining us right now is someone who's had direct experience with the alpha-gal syndrome. Nicole Cooper is from Virginia, and she was diagnosed with the condition. Thankfully, she's in remission now. Nicole, thanks so much for joining us. So how long was it between the time you think you were bitten by the tick and the onset of the symptoms?
So it's really hard to answer that specific question, because myself, like many others in our community, don't remember having the tick bite.
Right.
So we can only start to gauge it from when the symptoms got so bad that we sought treatment. And then even after you seek treatment, as the doctors try to figure out, since they don't have a tick bite to put it with, they run all kinds of tests and try all sorts of things. So for me, my symptoms got so bad, I landed in an ER in December of 2021. I had been having symptoms for probably going on a year to a year and a half, but we were coming out of COVID. And so some of the early symptoms, like lack of, not being able to catch your breath, some of the other issues that you think are just being sedentary through COVID, it was attributed to that. But I ended up not being able to breathe, ended up in an ER. They recognized a rash that I was getting on my arms, which had been happening frequently, and they ran a test. And then 2 days before Christmas, I got a call that I had alpha-gal. So that was December of 2021.
And when did you notice that you had this aversion or severe allergy to meat and dairy or any animal byproduct?
I never put it together. There's so much time between when you are exposed to alpha-gal, be it in dairy or in meat or in your lotion, your mascara, wherever it is. It's so hard to put the two things together, which is really another variable that makes this condition so hard to address and to treat. And so I was shocked when they wanted to run the blood test in the emergency room, and I was like, no, I hate ticks. I always wear my bug repellent when I'm out in the woods, I promise you. And
Well, they'll still get you
twice, and I said, sure, go ahead and run it, thinking there's no way that's what it is. And I was gobsmacked when I got the call.
So what kinds of things did you have to cut out of your life completely as a result of contracting alpha-gal?
So it seems like it's going to be so easy in terms of just avoiding meat. So anything, usually they say if it has hooves, but any mammal, cut out the meat. But that's a really reductive way of looking at it. As you said in your intro, there are so many other ways that you can be exposed. For me, I was fume reactive, so I couldn't be around anyone cooking meat. I couldn't use pans like my cast iron that I had cooked meat in, mammal in before. Dryer balls that had lanolin, I couldn't use them anymore. I would break out in a rash. Yeah, lanolin is derived from sheep, which is a mammal. So if it has feathers or fins, we could eat it. Vegan, most of the time is a good indicator, but not always. There's something called red carrageenan, which is derived from seaweed, which also has alpha-gal in it and is popular in some vegan products. So you even have to be careful about which toothpaste you use, or if your medicine is coated with any kind of gel coating to make it easier to swallow, that's generally derived from gelatin, which is derived from mammals. It's really, and so it's in your products. And so for me, I had to change, of course, the way that I ate. I could not eat dairy for a long time. I couldn't tolerate anything, as I said, with the fumes or.
Okay, so we covered in a couple episodes back about how they were planning to distribute these via mosquito populations, and it's not too far of a jump from one blood-sucking species of insect to another. You know, going from tick to mosquito. And so there's this correlation with some of these diseases and bioweapons programs that got out in a released tick population in the Northeast somewhere. And that tick population slowly spread across the U.S. through wandering deer populations. And that's why so many people are getting Lyme's disease, and alpha-gal is just another one of the latest. You also have a variety of other tick virus, diseases, but, I think it's pretty crazy because not only are we seeing these viral outbreaks on the faces of rabbits and squirrels and deer having these growths on them as well, and their own different, zombie, viruses. But man, what do you guys think? I mean, I hate ticks.
Oh yeah, I hate ticks too. I've had 2 ticks in my life, and not in my life, but I found them on my body in my life. When I was a kid, I picked one off my head and it freaked me out. And then at Hebrew Fest the first time, and that thing would not die. I tried to kill it; it would not die. They're weird or creatures. They're just disgusting.
Hard to squish. It's true.
Well, even if you beat it with a shampoo bottle, which is all I had, it was still crawling out of the drain. I beat it some more, and it was still alive. And so I just got my shotgun and went it a million pieces. No, I didn't get a shotgun, but that would have been cool.
You ever had any bad experiences with ticks, Opa?
Yeah, I went to Europe several times for conventions, and one of the conventions was up in the Cologne area, Cologne, Germany. And in the forests over there, they have a lot of deer tick problems where you can get the Lyme disease from the deer ticks. And I think I got it because when I when at the end of the conference, I was so lethargic, tired, I couldn't do anything. And I actually had to stay over a couple of days before I could get on the airplane. I had enough energy to get on the airplane. And I had the hospital take a look at me. And they said, well, maybe it's the Lyme disease. But eventually it went away.
That's good.
Well, Jeremiah, you want to show some of your clips?
Opa, did you have mine? I don't see him.
Yeah. I'll bring them up. Which one do you want?
Let's just do one and do my. Do you guys want to laugh a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's do. Please excuse my sense of humor, volume 23.
All right, here we go.
Some of them are from Lindsay. She's so funny too.
Who's to say that the boy would be happier your way or mine? Why not let him decide?
No, I'm afraid it don't work that way. You can't let a young'un decide for himself. He'll grab at the first flashy thing with shiny ribbons on it. Then when he finds out there's a hook in it, it's too late. The wrong ideas come packaged with so much glitter, it's hard to convince them that other things might be better in the long run. All a parent can do is say, wait, trust me, and try to keep temptation away.
You were abandoned at birth, you're a person of color in America, you were a queer person in a Mormon community. Are there any other struggles you faced in life?
No, I think you really nailed it.
I didn't break any bones. It's just... Goody.
This was me as a kid.
That's a good bail on film, though. But you want to know what happened? Is this damn ass rock. Don't you just hate when that happens? See, look. You got thrown off your board. See the skid mark you made with the rock? And then here's the damn ass fucking gay damn ass rock. You want to keep it and pee on it? No, I want to live. You can live, but do you want to keep the rock and pee on it? Oh, wait, oh, it's right here. Okay. You want to do something gay to the rock, like pee on it? Because that rock is effing ruined your life.
A homosexual, Clay?
I am. Yes, Mr. Trump, I am.
No, is that true?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But
Marcus, did you know that Clay was gay?
Yes, I did. When we first...
Did everybody know this?
Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
Okay.
He let
because I didn't know it.
My dad.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be normal, but I have two moms, so I'll probably end up being a furry.
Welcome to the world, Tyrone. What are you going to do when you get home?
I'm going to drive a Hellcat back home, eat KFC, play basketball, and look for the Huzz, you feel me?
Okay.
No. Why did you redeem it?
Raj, if you fail one more time at scamming again, I will put you in the shower.
Tyrone, what's one thing you want in this world?
KFC, Kool-Aid, and watermelon, the Holy Trinity, you feel me?
Hands up. This is the police. You're under arrest.
Come on, man, I just popped out and you're already arresting me.
Rajiv is about to say his first words. What's it gonna be?
Do not redeem the gift card. I said don't redeem it.
Why are you looking so stressed today?
Every 5 minutes, another stranger is pinching my cheeks. She looks like her daddy. No, she looks like her mommy. Please, stop dragging my face.
See, you're doing it right now. Can you just act like a human boy for 1 minute here? Look at me like a person. You can't do it for more than a few seconds. Look at me like a human boy. Don't mess around with me.
Everything happens to me. I think I'm cursed.
If you think your life is jinxed, now you can change it with E. David Scott's Curse Removal. Call this number and follow simple instructions. Positive forces instantly cast away the evil spirits that bring you bad luck. $1.95 per minute for entertainment only. Under 18 get permission. Call now and remove the jinx from your life.
If you know, you know. Okay, next. Okay, next.
Look, Katie, a big ape. Hey, my faggot!
Mr. Brain's faggots. A great meal all round.
Oh, gross.
Well, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Now, if you keep up with my Facebook feed, you would see a lot of these, but I like to put them in order and then put them on these. Please excuse my sense of humor, because I mean some of them are real dark. So,
so we got an upcoming live soon. Where can people go to find that?
I don't know if it'll be live. I'll have to ask Kristen, but it'll be on Brother Theo's Unplug 'Em podcast.
Yeah, you guys check it out. Brother Theo is going to be at Truthercon. He's going to be speaking, right?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Okay, so she said yes. So it'll be live. So go check out his YouTube channel at Unplug 'Em. And yeah. Hi, Gary. We'll be on, I don't know if you heard, we'll be on Unplug 'Em's YouTube channel. So you should go join us there because we're about to sign off here, I'm sure.
We'll be over there at 9 p.m. Central, right?
Yep.
Why don't we end with a Truthercon ad?
Let's do it.
Let's hit it.
All right, here we go.
Huge is coming. We're building the world's largest truther convention. It's called Truthercon.
This is the place where truthers unite to explore knowledge, ask tough questions, to challenge the mainstream narrative.
But it isn't just a convention. It's a movement for free thought, open discussion, and the right to question everything.
We are bringing in some of the biggest names of the truther community, so expect deep discussions, mind-blowing revelations, and connections with like-minded truth seekers.
If you feel like the truth is being hidden from you, this is where you need to be.
And the best part, it's 100% grassroots, built by truthers for truthers, straight from our Skiba News Nation family. Truthercon will be a massive networking event. I believe this is going to be the most exciting truther event ever.
October 2025 in Dallas, Texas. We hope to see you there.
Get your tickets.
It's gonna be epic.
Get your tickets.
That's all I can say.
Tickets.
Get your tickets now.
Get your tickets.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with us for about an hour and pretty cool stories. I feel like Oprah brings the coolest stories, and Jake brings the coolest stories, and I just bring a funny story.
You had some pretty funny stories.
I feel like Forrest Gump. We'll not talk
Will
like
be a
this.
podcast. Yeah, it's
angle.
going to be over on Unplug 'Em. Brother Theo's Unplug 'Em YouTube channel.
Yeah, let me spell it. U-N-L-U. I think it only has one G. E-N, I think. I hope I'm right.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later.
All right, we love you guys. We'll see you on Friday, and then we'll see you next Sunday. Adios.
Peace, guys.
Hasta luego.